Back here on First Things First, and we are going viral. Greg Olsen is holding off on retirement and has returned for a one-year deal with the Seahawks. We should have seen this one coming. First, there was this photo on February 1st with the caption, "What could Cam Newton be whispering to Russell Wilson?" Later that day, Olsen retweeted it saying, "Olsen can still play." Then Wilson tweeted out a photo of him and Olsen saying simply, "Facts." Well, yesterday, with the news, Wilson tweeted out, "This aged well." So I guess we should have seen this coming, right, guys?
Yeah, you know, it's not a bad move. I mean, do you think Olsen has a ton left?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then in that case, it could be a good move. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's all right.
Playing tight end is not about, like, look, Jason Witten, when he came out of broadcasting, was washed last year, right? Like, everybody loves him, but he couldn't play. But with that as the exception, I mean, we've seen Antonio Gates hang on for a long time. Just use his brain.
Is Jimmy Graham the same?
No, Jimmy Graham was a great athlete who had to learn how to play tight end and wasn't a thinker the way that I think Antonio Gates was, or Greg Olsen is, or some of these older tight ends that just give me a crease, get me a linebacker, and I can find it. For Russell Wilson, I think it's brilliant. He needs that. They ran the hell out of the football last year. He needs a go-to tight end, and I think they can win. I think it's smart. Oh, yeah, by the way, the XFL helps the whole deal because Greg Olsen's going to be a great broadcaster, hopefully with us whenever he's done. Right. And he's broadcasting XFL games right now, so he's improving at his next craft, and he gets to scratch that itch. I love it.
I will say it's an upgrade. If he's got something left, which I think he does, it's an upgrade.
Yes.
On to some hoops. The small ball Rockets come out of the All-Star break right in the middle of the Western Conference.
Oh.
But with James Harden leading the league with over 35 points a game and Russell Westbrook looking as explosive as ever, the Houston duo doesn't lack any confidence. When the two were asked in a GQ article, what pieces, if any, are y'all missing before you can win a championship? Yes, I said y'all. Harden replied, "We've got everything." And Westbrook chimed in, "Yeah, we're good." So, Chris, are they right that the small ball Rockets are title contenders?
Well, first of all, I think the interesting question is, because you know how magazine pieces work, were they interviewed for this before the trades were made? Before they went small ball? I don't know. I'm guessing it was after, but it may have very well been before because it takes, months sometimes to get articles like this out. However, to answer your question, I don't think so. I think at best, they're the third best team in the West. So barring major injuries to the Clippers and the Lakers, I don't think they can get to the conference finals. I think they were better suited to win the championship a couple years ago when they still had Clint Capella and had Chris Paul. And we all know they had Golden State down 3-2. I still feel like Golden State would have won that series if Chris Paul, was out. If he had stayed healthy, I think Golden State would have won. But I don't know that. I mean, maybe the Rockets would have won that series and gone on to win the championship. But when you went ahead and made the trade to Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook, I think this move to small ball was the best thing for your lineup now. Like, this is great for Russell Westbrook because for the first time in his career, the lane is wide open. Even though OKC, you had Steven Adams there, now it's wide open. He doesn't have to sit at the three-point line anymore and wait for Harden to pass him the ball where he was shooting like 23% from three. So if you notice his play, he's averaged darn near 40 points a game since they went to small ball when he's been healthy. So, I also think, Doug, one of the best things about this is that it makes them less Harden-centric. Like, before it was Harden clearly number one, and Russ kind of getting in where he fit in like everybody else. Now, I think it's really a 1-2 punch. These are two co-stars now, and Harden obviously can do his thing, and Westbrook's able to do what he does best. So both of them can kind of maximize their games in this system, and I think they got slightly better than they were a month ago. But I don't think they can win.
And they added, of course, two players here in the buyout market, right? I mean, I think, DeMarre Carroll.
Which I think are good moves for this style of play.
Yes, gives them more shooting off the bench, more guys to versatile defenders. Okay, let's start 2 years ago. Okay, 2 years ago was the 27 in a row missed threes. 26 or 27 in a row missed threes. Obviously, you make any of those, but live by it, die by it. It should also be pointed out, and hasn't, I don't think, enough, Andre Iguodala was hurt for the Warriors. Right. If Andre Iguodala, like, everybody's like, well, maybe Chris Paul didn't get hurt. Exactly. Well, Andre Iguodala didn't get hurt. I never thought they used Chris Paul enough the way that Chris Paul is great. Chris Paul is arguably the best pick-and-roll point guard in the last 15 years. You know, he and John Stockton, they're unbelievable at screen roll. And when you combine the three-point shooting they had around him, so many times Chris Paul was just standing waiting for the basketball, and that's not getting the best value out of that asset. But I agree with the trade of Capella. Even though you want rim protection, Capella has no real value because you can't. Russell Westbrook's not a screen roll guy, right? And they're getting the most out of what they have. And so I think it was a smart move to completely commit to small ball. So first things first, which is the name of the show, but also this needs to be stated. Whomever in the Houston Rockets organization, I want you to watch, whoever convinced Russell Westbrook to stop shooting threes, I commend you. I owe you a steak dinner. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. He can't shoot him, and for the most part, he hasn't shot him. And guess what? His production is better. And they put shooters around him. And while I agree with you, and oh yeah, by the way, the byproduct of it is less James Harden dribbling. I love basketball. I think James Harden's great. I hate watching James Harden play basketball most of the time because he dribbles so much. Like, I get it. But I actually like what they're doing. I like that they're committed to the style, and they're the third best team in the West, which we agree with. But they could screw up the Lakers. They could screw up the Clippers, and here's why. You mentioned the Clippers and the struggles that they're having at times because they don't know who's in their lineup. The Clippers are kind of struggling a little bit with an identity crisis because they haven't played together enough. The Rockets are not. They knew who they are. Right? Russell Westbrook's finally figured out, hey, I'm not a three-point shooter.
And the style of play.
They know exactly what they are, right? They are Russell Westbrook trying to get to the rim, and if somebody comes, they're going to kick off and shoot a three. They're James Harden going one-on-one. If somebody helps, there's a kickoff, and they're going to shoot a three. They know exactly who they are. And knowing who you are is kind of the beginning of your true success in life. It's the same thing with teams. I do think they have a shot to win this thing. It's an outside shot, but it's the best shot they have with their personnel. And I don't think the Lakers or the Clippers particularly want to play them because they're going to win a game or two simply based upon this style that they're completely committed to.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick them over either the LA teams. But before the trade, I thought they had a better shot at beating the Clippers. After the trade, or now that they're going small, I think they have a better shot. Again, I wouldn't pick them. But yeah, they got a better shot at beating the Lakers because the Lakers would have trouble. I mean, they spread out the floor and go small. Now are the Lakers bigs going to get out there and guard them?
Not just that. Who does LeBron James guard? Like, we talk about, I mean, obviously, JaVale McGee is useless in that series. Dwight Howard is useless in that series. Right?
He may have a little trouble, but he can get out there and guard.
No, but Anthony Davis probably has to guard Russell Westbrook, right? That's what people have been doing.
They did that because I believe they played him.
Right, and they lost. Right, it's like, and then how do you hide LeBron James, who at this point in his career is more of really a help side guy than he is, like, he can't guard James Harden. He can't guard Russell Westbrook.
They probably put him on PJ.
Right, so, so he's going to guard PJ Tucker and be out of the lane, and he's not able to help, which he's a great, brilliant help side defender now, using his brain at this point in his career. It's a really hard matchup for the Lakers that are not built for that style. It's something they struggle with. So I think it's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out.
Yeah, certainly. Coming up, their latest move might have inched them closer. Guard Reggie Jackson has agreed to a contract buyout with the Pistons and plans to sign with the Clips. So, Chris, what do you make of Reggie's decision to join Kawhi over LeBron and the Lakers?
I don't know how much it was over the Lakers. First of all, he's represented by Aaron Mintz, who's the agent for Paul George. And also who they're friends, Reggie and Paul, but also was the agent for Julius Randle and D'Angelo Russell, who Aaron Mintz did not like the way they were treated in L.A. You know, he shared that with Reggie. However, Reggie did talk to some people with the Lakers, but they didn't go full bore after him. It wasn't like LeBron and AD called him and recruited him. The Lakers feel, whether we agree or not, they feel good about where they're at and what they have. Not that they certainly wanted Darren Collison. But outside of that, and Marcus Morris, obviously they wanted, they're not just like, we just got to add somebody. Now, for the Clippers, I like Reggie there. I mean, I think he's their fourth guard, Doug. Certainly, obviously, Patrick Beverley is what he is. Lou Williams is what he is. And Landry Shamet is huge for them with his three-point shooting.
Yes.
So I think Reggie's after all those guys. It's kind of insurance for injuries, which is an issue with them. And we kept him from the Lakers, even if the Lakers weren't like 100% on bringing him in.
I would love to like decipher his points and tell me he's wrong, but he's totally. I mean, like, again, this is, and it's it's not a Rich Paul thing, right? It's a Pelinka thing.
Right.
It's a, like, when you have, this is the real world of the NBA, is Aaron Mintz is like, didn't even consider, the Lakers didn't go after him. He didn't really consider them. So it's not as it's perceived. Are there players that don't want to play with Team LeBron if they're not represented by Rich Paul? Yes. I don't think that's the case here. And though I think it adds to the talent of the